doing a joint interview?
Ouch! Make sure your heels. Ow! God bless everybody. Go Browns. Oh, I almost said something, but I don't want bulletin
board with you, right?
Yeah, that shit. You guys are great. All right, see it. Are you guys recording me?
Yep.
Thanks, Dave.
So, Joe, what was your reaction to seeing Joe traded to Cincinnati?
Yeah, I was shocked. I was actually with my youngest daughter at home, and I was kind of like scrolling Instagram, and I was like, "Is this a fake account?" You know, like I saw an NFL post, and then saw it. I reached out to him. I think everybody was a little bit shocked. You know, he's like just such a vet, such a leader. Obviously, we want to give him the reins this year and try and give him a chance to, rekindle some magic from 2023. But then you kind of look deeper into the picture, like it's unfortunate part of the business, and I think we want to try and see what our young quarterbacks have, and he was, probably a good backup to have, but in the grand scheme of things, they were probably ready to give the young guys a chance, and they got a draft pick, so that's their mindset, I think. But yeah, we were a little bit shocked, but you sit back and you kind of look at a big picture, and you're like, all right, he has a chance to play now and go do his thing.
What about just the reaction with Greg then getting traded?
Yeah, that was late too last night. I had got a text from somebody else saying we traded Greg, and I wasn't sure. Obviously he's been here for 5 years, done a lot for our team, was playing really well this year, and just a great personality, just a guy that you like having around. Coach Fancy told us this morning. He just said we traded him for another corner that we believe is a good corner in this league, and so. At this point, they think they're trading a starter for a starter, and they maybe fits better in our scheme and stuff. But anytime you lose guys in this league, you realize it's the business of it, and we'll kind of see how it goes from there.
So it is a business, but does it create a feeling in the locker room like nobody knows who's next? Any uncertainty at all?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think if you look at those situations, playing like we traded a player for a player at the same position, and we traded our quarterback that was a starter, who is now going to be back, and we have a lot of young guys in that room that they probably want to see get reps. But no, I think we're focused. We have an urgency this week to try and get a win.
So do you still feel like then, just based on how you're describing those trades, that the commitment to winning is still there?
Yeah, I think yes, I think so. We look at it like the NFL's most cliche thing is a game of inches, and we're a couple plays away from being 3-2, and another play away from being 1-5. Unfortunately, I think there's a good team in here, and I think the organization still feels that way. We have to find a way to get wins, to put it on the board, but I don't think anybody in this locker room is not focused on trying to win the next game.
Tough situation last week for Cam Robinson. What do you see him doing this week?
Yeah, I mean, you get picked up or traded, and then you end up, flying to London and doing that thing. But I think he's getting more comfortable with the playbook. I think he's understanding what we do. He's played a lot of football, and so I think he's going to definitely feel more comfortable if he gets a shot to be out there.
The back was okay after a long flight?
Yeah. We made it good. They take care of some of those flights, but we made it there and back, so we're feeling all right now.
How do you think Dylan can grow in that second start, and then what tips can you give him about playing that Steelers defense?
Yeah, he did some good things. I think you it's like your team. You want to see the most growth from week 1 to week 2. As a quarterback, you want to see a lot of growth as well. I think you play a full game. You get the experience of calling the plays, checking plays at the line. It's easy on paper, to think, oh yeah, if there's a 3 technique over here, but then when you get out there and actually see it, it makes those calls real. But I think he's taken a big step. He's always had a grasp of the offense, and he's continued to study and be good. So I think it was a again, London, Minnesota Vikings defense. It doesn't get much easier to go to Pittsburgh now and play in a hostile environment. I think they realize he's played so much football in college. It's a big rivalry game. It's going to be loud. It's going to be rambunctious. They're a good defense, and we got to, as an offense, we got to give them a chance, play on time, and protect them to see if we can make those plays.
Joel, in terms of the running game, do you guys? You really need to get the passing game going so that you don't face the stack boxes for clinch Sean, right? I mean, what can you do maybe to get that going?
Yeah, I mean, if we can keep, I think everybody's seen Q. He's a heck of a player, and we want to try and get him the ball as much as possible. So anytime we can do that is a good thing, and we think it will open up the passing game if we keep giving him the ball and then taking those shots. But if they want to load the box, then we do have to take those shots. We have to find a way to protect and make big plays happen to open it up for us.
Joel, about Quinshon, after the game, one of the defensive linemen said something. Said Nick Chubb. Mike Tomlin said Nick Chubb in reference this week. Do you see any similarities there?
Yeah, I mean, they're both great running backs. I obviously had a lot of experience with Nick, and I remember his rookie year when he came in and splashed, Oakland game and had some more carries throughout the year, and I think he almost got to 1,000 that year. But yeah, you see, I mean, dynamic running backs like they just make plays and they make people miss, and they find the hole and they run for three. Plays block for 3 and they get 5. Those type of similarities for sure. I see those things.
Joe, you've seen a number of rookie quarterbacks now go into Pittsburgh. Is it your experience that experience causes them not to play their best?
I mean, I think it's just a tough place to play, a tough defense. Anytime you face them, and so we obviously haven't had much success playing there in my whole career, and so I think it's just a tough environment in general, and they have great players on their defense that make plays for them, and we have to do a job to make it a little bit easier for them.
As you're watching this film, the Steelers sacked Carson Wentz 6 times in Dublin. So is that kind of a daunting task to go up against Cam and Alex and TJ and those?
Yeah, they're great front. Obviously TJ Watt is who he is, and then Highsmith and Herbig are Highsmith's been out for a little bit, but Herbig's been playing great on that side, and obviously Cam Hayward still doing his thing on the inside. They drafted a first-round guy, fifth-round guy. They rotate guys on the inside. So that's the thing, you have 4 or 5 rushers, and they like to bring 5, so you're one-on-one a lot of the time. But it's a great defense, a great test for us, and we're preparing to try and take it on.
When you've gone against a guy like Cam so many times, I mean, you face him twice a year. You guys have both been around for a long time. Is there any I guess what's that like when you go against that guy constantly and have gone against him so much?
Well, there's no surprises, right? Yeah. You go into the game and his best rushes. He knows how I like to block him. Probably they have some. Some different wrinkles here and there, but at the end of the day, it's all right, I know I'm going to block 70% of the time in the game, and he lines up over me most of the time as well. So, all that stuff is familiar, but then, getting to Sunday, it's it's a big challenge because he's a great player as well. So there's definitely a little bit less uncertainty, but obviously the expectations of the actual game are there, and it's always going to be a good battle.
Joel, that defense and the fact that they already have 10 takeaways, what are you seeing on film? What are they doing well on some of those splash plays?
I mean, opportunists. The ball finds them. They get their hands in passing lanes. It seems like when they need a big play, they've made it so far this year. We stress the turnover battle, and they've kind of lived that this year, and they're making plays. And I think they're 3-1 because they have won the turnover battle, and they just find a way to get the ball. So we have to do everything in our power to protect it.
I think Jack really graded out really well in his pass blocking for this past game, coming off of the elbow surgery. What does that say about him to go out there and play that well, knowing that he's probably not 100% with that elbow either? Yeah,
we were happy to have him back. It was a little tough stretch there for him, but he came back and he played well and he fought, and he knows he has a big battle this week. But it was just great to have him out there and great to have him competing.
When you talk about being a couple inches away from 3-2, 0-5, do you look at the AFC North and think to yourself, man, this seems wide open given everything that's going on?
Yeah, I mean, you can't help but see the standings, obviously. But right now we're so focused on just trying to be the best version of ourselves that it's hard to be oh yeah, and week 12 we're gonna be here. So right now we're just trying to put an offense out there that can compete and try and find a win against the team leading the division.
Joel, how much what kind of looks is Quinshon giving you guys offensively with not just the consistency, but he's showing the ability to break off those massive runs.
Yeah.
I don't want to compare him to Nick at all, but the fact that it feels like you've got maybe your next consistent running back.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, anytime you can find one of those guys in this league, it helps. We just keep finding more ways for him to get the ball. Like, there's a couple little boots and catches in the flat that he can turn into 10, 15-yard gains. The breakaway runs are awesome. Like, it's nice. Like, the third quarter, we ran the ball down the field, but when you can have those 30-yard runs, like on the first drive of the game, or that 50-yard one that got called back, those are game-changing plays. Like, the explosive plays, like, a lot of those come in the passing game, but if you can get 3 or 4 in the run game in a game, then I think you're doing something on offense. So it's great to have him, and hopefully we keep finding ways to get him the ball.
I wanted to ask you about that 32-yard gain on it. I mean, y'all, the offensive line kind of just opened this massive hole, allowed Quinshon to get up 32 yards. Kind of what is going on the offensive line that allowed y'all to kind of split the Vikings defensive line there?
Yeah, it was there. I think they were in their base defense, and we kind of ran a zone to the right side. And so, the front side had a great double team. I think White pinned the linebacker. Poe reached the nose guard, and I think we were working on the backside, like a B block, up to the second level, and I think we both won our block. So I think everybody on the O-line that time kind of won their block, and when you do that, there's big plays that happen.
Yeah, and I know Quinshon, maybe there were 3 Viking linebackers, secondary players there, and then he kind of just bounced to the outside, running up the sideline to get that. What does that say about his explosiveness? Yeah,
I mean, it's awesome to see. Like, I get too excited sometimes. Like, I threw my hand up, I think, and I was like, oh, he still has a long way to go. Like, I was hoping he scored, but no, it's great to see him. Anytime we can get him on, corners and safeties, past the first and second level, we like those matchups.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Josh.
Okay, all right. I mean, fair enough, and they've got 3 good weeks.
Good. Carson, will be your first time going to Pittsburgh. How much are you looking forward to it, knowing, I know you guys are learning the history of this rivalry. Mm-hmm. So how excited are you for this one?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's always fun to go into that environment as a team, and it really brings you together, and it'll be exciting to go play there.
Carson, what do you see when you're watching that Steeler offense on film, and with Aaron Rodgers operating, and what do you see from him so far this year?
Yeah, they've obviously won games and played good offense, and I think they're big and physical, and I think when going down there, that's one of the keys is for us is being able to bring the physicality and start fast.
What have you heard about the rivalry with this team since you've sort of gotten here and sort of lead up to this game?
Yeah, I think you hear stuff here and there and things like that, and I think one of the big emphasis is just being able to play our style of football and not let that get too much in our heads, and making sure we keep our heads on right and don't make any mistakes that are going to cause penalties or things like that.
They don't look to attack the middle of the field that much recently. What do you think that is?
I think they actually have shown to be able to spread the ball around. I think there's plays too where they look to get into the middle of the field. So for us, I think we're looking to be able to cover all aspects of it.
Carson, with Greg being traded away, I know you didn't have as much time with him as other guys in this locker room, but what was it like to get to know him, and especially with how vocal he was?
Oh, yeah.
Like, how important was that for the rookies?
He was great for all the rookies. I think he was always a huge supporter and always there to help, and so really happy for him and happy for the guy we're bringing in. I think it's just going to be another thing of making sure, on my part, the communication's there and be able to get everything across.
I'm guessing you've been watching Aaron Rodgers your whole life, so I mean now you get to go against him. What's that kind of like?
Yeah, it'll definitely be a cool experience, but I think for me, once the game starts, it's just football again. So I don't really think too much into that, especially once I'm on the field.
What about DK Metcalf and just how big he is, and I'm sure you're going to have an encounter or two with him on Sunday, so how much you're looking forward to that?
Yeah, I think it's a similar thing for me. Once I'm on the field, it's football regardless of who's out there. So for me, I'm just making sure I'm doing my job, being where I'm supposed to be at, and hopefully we're all in positions to make plays.
5 games in, do you feel it slowed down for you, and where you can just keep ramping up?
Yeah, I think each game I'm feeling more comfortable, and I think I'm getting better each week, and I think that's huge is just continuing to take those strides and hopefully limit mistakes as the weeks go on as well.
Good guys.
Thank you.
Hey, Carson.